Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have some great slow cooker recipes for you. All right, if you're new here, hello, I'm Claire. Welcome. Come on in, make yourselves comfortable. Do you like to use your slow cooker? 'Cause I do. So actually in this video, I have an appetizer for you. I have two main dishes and I also have a dessert. So whatever you're sort of looking for as far as inspiration, I hope I can give you some today. And anyway, yeah, let's get right to it. Here are some great slow cooker recipes for you guys to try. All right, our first recipe is for some classic slow cooker cheese dip, but there's a twist on it. You're gonna need pepper jack cheese, American cheese, cornstarch, a 10-ounce can of tomatoes with chilies, a 12-ounce can of evaporated milk, and some chopped red onion and cilantro to top it off at the end. Now, I know you probably have had the classic slow cooker Velveeta dip. This is like a whole other level. So if you're really trying to impress anyone, even your family or anyone coming over, whip this out. All you need, this is 8 ounces of pepper jack that I have shredded. I'm also using 4 ounces of American cheese, which is about 4 slices. I know if you go to like a deli, you can get like higher quality American cheese than the kind that come like individually wrapped, but I got all my ingredients at Aldi and that's what they had and it worked just fine. I'm trying to chop it up like a little bit so they're not just like giant chunks, you know what I mean? And now we're going to throw all of that into the slow cooker. And now I'm going to use some cornstarch. This is 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. And I'm just throwing that in there, mixing it up so that all of my cheese bits are coated with that cornstarch. Now I am going to throw in the 10-ounce can of diced tomatoes with green chilies. This is from Aldi. It's delicious. Works every time. And here is our kind of interesting ingredient. This is a 12-ounce can of evaporated milk. This is definitely what I thought elevated this cheese dip from your basic Velveeta to like something that Martha Stewart would 10 out of 10 serve at a party. And now I'm just going to put that on low for 2 to 3 hours. And to top it off, I'm going to chop up these red onions, and I'm also going to throw some cilantro on there, but you could add some like diced up jalapenos or whatever suits you. And this cheese dip was so velvety smooth and creamy, and I just like couldn't believe how much better it was than the other slow cooker cheese dips I've had in my life. And to serve it up, I'm just using this ramekin to make it look nice, but you could definitely just keep it in your slow cooker and your guests or whatever can just help themselves. This would also be totally cute on a charcuterie board. It was so good. Like no one would taste this and think that it was like full of fake cheese. Like it tastes amazing. Now on to our main course. This is peanut chicken over rice. You're going to need peanut butter, honey, soy sauce, garlic, sriracha, coconut milk, a pound of chicken, a bell pepper, and some cilantro and peanuts for garnish. And you guys, I'm not kidding, this is possibly the best thing I've ever made in my life. Like my husband and I ate this and we're like, whoa, did I really do that? So I'm throwing 1 cup of coconut milk in my slow cooker. I've also got 1/3 cup of peanut butter, and this isn't like all natural peanut butter or anything. This is just regular old sugary peanut butter. I didn't try for any fancy ingredients here. This is all like pretty pantry friendly as well. I'm also throwing in half a tablespoon of honey. Here I'm putting in a tablespoon of sriracha. Now, if you don't like spicy food, don't skip this. I know a lot of people just like will skip the hot sauce in something if they don't like spice, but this is so important and that coconut milk will cool it off a little bit. The flavor is essential with the sriracha. All right, now I've got 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. And 1 teaspoon of minced garlic. And now I'm just gonna stir that all together and make sure that there's no big chunks of anything, especially that peanut butter. Just get it all nice and smooth. Here I have my bell pepper. I chose a red one because I thought it would look really pretty in there, but use what you got. And I'm just gonna slice these up into like little sticks. Now I'm going to throw my chicken breast in there. This is just a thawed, boneless, skinless breast. You need about 1 pound, but these were huge, so 1 just did it fine. And then I'm gonna add those peppers on top. I'm going to cover it and I'm gonna cook it on low for 6 hours. And right when that's almost done cooking, about ½ hour left, I'm going to make my rice. I like to serve this type of food over rice, but you could eat it on its own. You could put it in a tortilla. You know, you do you. But I'm using my Instant Pot to make basmati rice just because it's my favorite. And oh my goodness, my kitchen smelled so good. I took out the chicken and I'm just shredding it with a couple of forks. You'll know it's done and ready because this part will be very easy. It'll just break right apart. It'll be nice and tender. And then I'm gonna toss it back in, stir it on up, and I'm gonna leave that to sort of simmer in there while my rice is cooking. That'll just make sure that all the chicken absorbs all that great peanut flavor. And to top it off, I'm gonna chop up some cilantro and some nuts. Now I know not all people love cilantro, but I promise the cilantro made this dish. So if you like cilantro, do not skip it because the flavor on this was so incredible. And with that little crunch of the peanuts on top, this definitely was like a restaurant quality dish, and we were both so impressed. My husband and I, we were really impressed with this. We'll definitely make it again. And to plate it, I'm just throwing it over the rice and adding my peanuts and my cilantro. It's also a very beautiful dish, very impressive. Yeah, I really just can't say enough good things about this recipe. It was amazing. All right, for our second sort of main course dish, I'm making a kielbasa and cabbage, very like Polish German. You'll need cabbage, potatoes, and onions, some broth, kielbasa, salt, pepper, brown sugar, and some garlic. The first thing I'm gonna do, I washed my potatoes. This is 1 pound of potatoes, and I'm just slicing them in half. You don't need to use these cute little baby potatoes. Use whatever potatoes you have, just cut them up small. A russet would be just fine in this situation. I'm also gonna cut up a whole onion. I'm just dicing it. Here is my cabbage. I'm going to cut that big center chunk out because nobody wants to eat that. And the recipe called for a small head, and this was not a small head. I had a little bit too much shredded cabbage here, so if you have a very large head of cabbage, just use half of it or a small one. Now I'm going to cut up my kielbasa. This is turkey kielbasa. I love this stuff. It's from Aldi. My family really enjoys it, but use whatever brand or whatever type of meat. You could definitely use like a meatless variety as well if you wanted to. Whatever your family favors, just use that one. And now I'm going to throw in 1 cup of broth. I am also going to throw in 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I'm going to throw in half a teaspoon of salt and also half a teaspoon of pepper and a teaspoon of minced garlic. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my cabbage. As I said earlier, this was a little bit too much, so I didn't put all of it in there. and my onion and top it off with my potatoes. Now I'm gonna just kind of like mix it around just so that that liquid can get dispersed through everything. As it cooks, you can give it a stir now and then. That cabbage will definitely release like quite a bit of liquid, so no worries, it's not gonna get like all dry or anything. And now I'm just going to set my kielbasa on the top, and that's it. I'm going to cover this and cook it on low for 6 hours. And you can eat it on its own. It definitely is super filling. However, my husband really wanted to have it on top of some egg noodles, which I think fits this type of cuisine really well. So I just made some noodles, and this smelled really good too. If you are a person who likes these types of flavors, but if you aren't into sauerkraut, like I personally, I don't like sauerkraut, but I like cabbage. So this was a really good happy medium that I didn't get that like sour flavor, but I still got the great flavor of the cabbage. And I'm just going to serve it over our like lightly salted and buttered noodles. Yeah, it was really good. It does look a little bit bland though. It's all kind of the same color. So I added some pepper and some green onions just because like it wasn't that pretty. It's a little beige. I thought the green onions would just add another great little element to it in that oniony flavor. And now for our dessert recipe. It's so easy. There's only 3 ingredients. I'm making cherry cobbler today. And honestly, the only prep work you need to do for this whole recipe is just cut up the butter. There are 2 sticks of unsalted butter here, and I'm just like, you know, cutting them up. And now I'm throwing 2 cans of cherry pie filling into my slow cooker, but you could use any type of pie filling. A cherry cobbler is good, but also a peach or a blueberry would be really delicious. But this is what Aldi had, so I used it. And now I am throwing just a plain white cake mix on top. It's already in the bag. You don't even have to do anything. I just kind of like evened it out and smoothed it over with a spoon. You don't need to mix it or anything. And now I'm just laying the butter on top of there. Like I know you guys, this is quite possibly the most unhealthy recipe I've ever made in my life, but it is so incredibly rich that you only need a tiny little spoonful to satisfy that after dinner sweet craving. So now I'm going to cook this on high for 2 to 2.5 hours. And oh my gosh, once the edges start turning crisp and brown and those cherries start bubbling through, this was so incredibly delicious and rich. You really only need a spoonful, and even that was like a lot. It was so good. And I'm serving it with just a scoop of vanilla bean ice cream, and this was just the perfect ending to the day. All right, you guys, those were all my slow cooker recipes. Make sure you leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. What is your favorite thing to cook in your slow cooker? I would love to hear it and get more ideas because, as I said, we love to try new recipes all the time. We are not super into the like routine of eating the same stuff all the time. We love to switch it up. So I'd love to hear your ideas. And of course, come on back for more. I post 2 videos a week and I'd love to have you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.